Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Chris Desir here, 100 Agency. It's been a while, but I'm back with another video. And today is going to be how to time travel and teleport. Let me get right into this. Let me share my screen so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Right. How to time travel and teleport. You see, I got my images up here. It's going to be a great and fun time. Let's get into it. Right. First off, what is time? To get this straight, there is no definitive fact on what time is, but we know that there is a concept for time and that concept can be measured. Now, what are the universal agreements on time? This means these are the commonality things that pretty much everyone across the world can see, agree with, whether you're a regular person, a scientist, whatever. Time is always passing nonstop. That's one. Time is measured in units, and these units are seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, etc. Time is only measured through the presence of space, and space meaning all objects and occurring events. So, what are the debated concepts of time? These are things that people still argue about to this day. Is time linear or circular? Can time be manipulated to go forward or backwards through itself? And can time be frozen? Right. Now here's some pictures, right? These just basically sum up the three universal agreements and give some clear definition, right? This is from the sciencedaily.com. You can find it. This is a source from the University of Helsinki, right? And here's a summary of basically what this says. The concept of time is self-evident. An hour consists of a certain number of minutes, a day of hours, and a year of days. But we rarely think about the fundamental nature of time, says one expert. I'm here to explain that part, the fundamental nature of time, right? If we know the universe, if we know some key things that everybody can agree on, right? You can assume that those would be fundamental things that we all can say time are. And I'm going to apply them in a second, right? This also goes to talk on about the theory of relativity, which I will be addressing later in this slide. It gives examples for the Big Bang. Before the Big Bang, there was no space or time. That's another thing I'm going to address, right? And if you want to fully read this yourself, you can pause the video, go through it, but I'm basically going through most, or if not all of these points. Here's a picture of the units of time: seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, month, year, going on, and seconds per second, seconds per minute, seconds per hour, and it just keeps going down the list. And this is how we basically do our regular units of time. And here is the definition of space: the unlimited or incalculably great three-dimensional realm or expanse in which all material objects are located and all events occur, right? So all material objects, where they're located in space, and all the events that occur are in space. Now, addressing the debated concept of time. If you take the universal agreements about time and apply them to the debated concepts of time, you can find out if those theories hold true. So here's the first one. Is time linear or circular? Time is circular because the linear concept does not hold weight in all circumstances. Arguments for linear time. Time is irreversible, unidirectional. An example they would give: we, as humans, for example, are born, we live, we die in that order. We cannot reverse this process. This is for a fact true. We cannot go back in time, and time only does move in one direction. We perceive this direction as forward. However, just because time moves along a set direction does not mean that it is moving linearly. The example given just shown or just shows the direction that time flows. All that example is basically telling you is what we know about time is that time is always passing, and it's always passing in one direction. And all that is basically saying all we can basically find out is what direction time is flowing. That's all that they can basically tell us. There is no proof anywhere that indicates that time itself is linear. This example is only true from an individual's situational perspective. Universally, there is more evidence that time is circular, or at the very least going through cycles. If you talk about time in isolation, it would appear linear. However, you must factor in space as well. You cannot have space, you cannot have time without the presence of space, which is again an object or a series or a series of events, but you can't have a series of events unless you have an object going through those events. So here's a clear example, right? Here's what I mean. The earth, right, follows a direction around the sun, but it's not linear. It's not a straight direction. The earth is going in circles around the sun. The earth in itself is spinning in a direction, is spinning in one direction, but it's not linear. It's not a line. It's not straight. If you look at this four seasons, which is caused by the earth spinning around the sun, here, how are things affected, right? Let's look at life on the planet, right? In winter, the trees die. In spring, they come back to life. In summer, they start flourishing. In fall, they start dying again. And that process continues. Look at the rock cycle. Even though this doesn't necessarily look like a circle because there's so many lines, it goes through a process. It gets weathering, it goes away. The weathered rock gets transported to the bottom of the sea. It goes to sedimentary rock. It goes underground. It gets remelted into the magma, and then it comes back up as new rock, and then the new rock stacks on top of itself, and it goes through the process all over again. And here's an easy one that this is probably going to be the clearest example for you to see. Just look at it. The water cycle. It's a circle from the clouds to the waterfalls and rivers to the ocean to the sun evaporating it back to rain. It's a cycle. Things go in cycles. There's more evidence in our universe that things are cycles more than evidence that things are linear. There are very few, if any, true examples of anything really being linear in our universe. So for us to say that time is linear is only something you can do in a situational point of view. But even then, it's not really true, because again, you cannot have space unless you have time, or you cannot have time unless you have space. Now, here's the second one. Can time be manipulated to be able to go forward and backwards? Like already mentioned, we cannot go back in time. But right now you may thinking, oh, what's the point of this time travel video if you yourself can't teleport? I mean, if you yourself can't time travel. Don't worry, I'm getting to that. Don't worry. But so let me read it again. Like I already mentioned, we cannot go back in time. But yes, we can perceive time travel. It just would not affect our course through time. To understand what I'm talking about, you must comprehend the cycle. The definition: a series of events that are regular repeated in the same order. Like I just showed you, these are events that regularly repeat in the same order. Are they necessarily circles? No, but if they repeat in the same order, they have a circular type of pattern, right? If we are to perceive time as never ending, you cannot draw it as a line that does not end, because the line still has a starting point. The easiest way to describe something that is never ending is to have something that has no beginning or end. Or the easiest way to describe something that is a cycle is something that repeatedly continues, that, or something that is regularly repeated. And the easiest way to describe that is a circle. A circle, right, has no beginning or ending point. It's just a set of points. It's just a set of points. This is a point, this is a point, this is a point, this is a point, this is a point. There is no beginning point or no ending point. It's infinite. It completely goes around forever. And I just showed you this. It's about to become really important in a second. So let me make this clear. Not all cycles are circles necessarily, but all circles are infinite cycles. We are in the confines of space, which makes us three-dimensional beings. However, if a fourth-dimensional being that had mastery, over space and time, it would be able to act upon us. I'm gonna further explain that in a minute. I gotta tackle this last point right now. Can time be frozen? No, time cannot be frozen. From an isolated perspective or from a universal perspective, it is impossible to freeze time. You must understand the concept that time and space are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have time without space and vice versa. Defining time in isolation without factoring what we already know about space. And what I mean by that is the laws of space, the laws of this universe, all right, is what leads to paradoxes. So if you ever watch movies like Back to the Future or any famous time travel movie, you're always going to be able to pick out a plot hole, right? You're always going to be able to pick out something that doesn't make sense if you really think about it. And this is what we call paradoxes: predestination paradox, grandfather paradox, bootstrap paradox, etc. All have the same root problem. They assume you would have the ability to interact with things outside your own time period and that we are not already in a cycle. Listen, like I said, when you're talking about space, when you're talking about objects in this three-dimensional reality have rules. For example, gravity. If I drop this right now, this is my wallet, is going to fall because it is being pulled towards it is being pulled towards the center of the earth, which has the largest electromagnetic pull on it. Right. And as you know, objects have many rules. There are many laws in this universe that defined are defined that we cannot break. The laws of thermodynamics, um, the I can't remember them off the top of my head, but there are rules to how this universe works. And every object in this universe is bound by these rules, especially if you're talking about everything that we can see and operate with, including ourselves, being three-dimensional beings. We are bound by the rules of this time. We are bound by the rules of this universe. So, with that being said, from an isolated perspective, you could say a way to freeze time is to freeze the motion of every object in this three-dimensional space that we live in, right? I could say right now, okay, let's say a fourth dimensional being comes in, right? And he snaps his finger and time just freezes, right? Time freezes. The motion of every single object in this universe just stops. That is not freezing time. And I'll tell you why. In reality, that would not work because there is still a period of time elapsing for how long space has been frozen. As long as there's space, there's time as well. Freezing the motion of an object does not freeze time. The fact that there is an object at all donates the presence of time. It doesn't matter if the molecules in the object are moving extremely fast, extremely slowly, or not at all. It is not the motion that denotes time. It is the object itself, the atoms, the molecules, the particles, the photons, however big or small you want to go. As long as an object exists, there is time. From a universal perspective, you could say if you completely got rid of space, leaving absolutely nothing, then recreate space then time would be frozen. If you had the ability to get rid of everything, completely everything, and just leave nothing, right? And then you recreate everything, couldn't you technically say you froze time? No. This is the same problem as the first example. Again, if there isn't space, there is no time. So time wouldn't be frozen. It would have ceased to exist. If there is no object, there is no time. If there is an object, there is time. There is no freezing of time. It's either time is passing or there is no time at all, period. Now, let me give you a clear definition of what I'm talking about. Here it is, space-time. The concept of time and three-dimensional space regarded as fused into a four-dimensional continuum, right? According to the best current physical theories, space-time displays the unusual relativistic effects that arise from traveling near the speed of light, as well as the motion of massive objects in the universe, right? I'm gonna touch a little bit on this in the future, especially the speed of light part. In physics, space-time and any mathematical model which fuses the three-dimension of space and the one dimension of time into a single four-dimensional manifold. The fabric of space-time is a conceptual model combining three-dimensional space with the fourth dimension of time. And here, I wrote a little formula. And this formula is going to be big. This formula is going to be big to prove all of my points, right? To make it easy, space plus time equals space-time, right? 1 plus 1 equals 2. Simple, right? Now, if you're trying to solve for space, because again, this is a formula, this is an equation. If you know space plus time is equal to space-time, that means if you have space-time and you minus it from time, it will give you the factor for space. And if you have space-time and you minus it from space, it will give you the factor for time. So in this instance, right now, I'm trying to solve for time travel, which means I am manipulating time, which means the constant needs to be space-time and space. These things have to be constant. Well, space-time has to be constant. I have to get rid of the presence of space to just factor in only the presence of time. I'm gonna explain what I mean in a second so you fully understand what I'm saying. Now that I have gone through and given clear explanations for why time is circular, why you can perceive time travel but not be affected by it, and explain why time can never be frozen, right? Let's go through how time travel would work, right? So we're going to put everything I just put together and let's see how it works. Now that I've laid out the foundation, let's put it all together in an example. We know that time space or space time, however you want to call it, is circular. Let's look at time space like a 360-degree circle, right? Let's look at time space, right? Time together with space as a 360-degree circle. And for the sake of making this easy, we as three-dimensional beings, remember, we are always passing through time in one direction. So for the sake of this example, let's say we're moving this way. We're moving left along the circle from 0 degree to 360 and repeating on and on and on, right? Let me make this small again. Let me get back here. Let's say one day, it takes 1 day to move 1 degree, right? So 1 day is 1 degree. So just for the sake of argument, right? Let's just imagine 1 year, or to make it more specific, 1 cycle around the sun takes 360 days instead of 365 days, just to make it safe, right? So 1 day it donates the presence of 1 degree being moved. So let's say right now we're at degree 30 and we're going forward along the circle. Because remember, we are always passing through time as 3-dimensional beings. And we pass from degree 0 to degree 1 to degree 2 to degree 3 and on and on and on. Because this is true in reality. We go from today, and from today, we will go into tomorrow. And from tomorrow, we will go into the next day. We do not skip days. You do not wake up on April 15th and then you automatically get flash forward to April 37th. There, you linearly in this case, you linearly pass through every single day on a rotation around the sun. You pass through every single degree. So now, sending you back in time. If a 4th-dimensional being wanted to move you to the 29th degree, and if today's the 30th degree, the 29th degree would be yesterday, everything around you would happen the exact same. You would not be able to interact with anything. You physically are still at 30 degrees moving forward towards 31. It would be as if you are just seeing an illusion of the past when in reality you are still exactly where you're naturally supposed to be in time. Don't worry, I'm explaining in a second if you didn't get it. To make it more clear, let's say the same 4th-dimensional being were to move something from the past into the future. From our perspective, it would just be a hologram. Even though we're able to see it, we would not be able to interact with it because it is not in the same degree as us. I.e., an object from the 29th degree is still moving forward to the 30th degree. It does not jump from the 29th degree to the 31st degree to catch up with us. It doesn't do that. There's nothing we currently know that indicates we can do this. More on this in the next slide. Time traveling to the past, right? So let's say right now, here are some examples, right? Just to show you how it would work. It's like an illusion, right? You see this it's called a chain shower. If you don't know what this is, there's a huge wall right here. It just flies through it uninhibited, right? And you see right here, you see these, this is a basketball game, a video game. And you see how these people are kind of phasing through each other, clipping into each other. You know, in reality, we can't do this. If I have this object and I touch it to my face, it's not gonna just pass through my body. That's not how that works. Right. But to give a better example, right? Let's first start off with the easier one. Let's say a 4th-dimensional being, right, is now here today. Let's say today right now is the 18th. So I'm gonna say today is degree 18. You got to keep this in mind. We're not just talking about time. We are talking about time and space. Time and space only exist in the certain degree that you are in. What I'm basically saying is this, if you still don't understand what I'm saying, because I really want to make this point get clear to you guys, right? Today is today, right? We know for a fact we can't go back into the past, and we know for a fact we can't see the future. So everything that exists today only exists today. Or to make it more clear, you only exist in the present moment at all periods of time. We just measure whatever the present moment by using calendars, minutes, time, seconds. This is how we measure what point in time we are currently at. So let's say I bought this wallet today, right? And today's degree 18. I bought this physical object in the time period of today. a fourth dimensional being comes along, somebody who is not affected by the rules of time or the rules of space. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to take this wallet and put it yesterday. Put it yesterday. I'm going to put this wallet into yesterday. Right. So, yeah, let me use this example. Right? So, no. I have to say it the other way. I have this wallet here today, right? I have this wallet here today. And I sell it today. I sold this wallet today. I already gave it away to somebody. I don't have it anymore. Now a time traveler comes along, right? A fourth dimensional being. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to move this wallet from today into tomorrow. He moves this wallet into tomorrow. I sold this wallet today. I already know I sold it to somebody. Now I come to tomorrow, right? A day pass. I wake up, I go into my room. I see the wallet sitting on my desk in the exact position that it was yesterday at this exact point in time. Right? Let's say I sold the wallet at 5 p.m. But at 4:55 p.m., I had the wallet sitting right here on my desk. A day passes. It is 4:55 at the exact same time. It is 4:55 again, but it is 4:55, a day later. Me already knowing in my mind, I just sold it. I sold this wallet yesterday, but it's 4:50. But I look at my time, I look at my clock, it's 4:55 p.m. And I see my wallet in the exact same position that it was yesterday at 4:55 p.m. If I try to grab the wallet, like these images I'm showing you, I would just wait for it, go right through it. I'd phase right through the object, phase right through it. Because this object, right, is in a different, even though, right, this object that I have in my hand is obeying the laws of physics. It is obeying all the fundamental laws that govern this universe. This object is not in the same degree that I am in. It's not in the same degree that I am in, right? Time travel would tell you that if a time traveler puts this wallet, right, from yesterday into the future, time travelers would usually tell you, or people would usually say, oh yeah, you would be able to interact with this wallet. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. This wallet exists in the 29th degree, or this wallet exists yesterday, right? And it exists yesterday in the 29th degree, and it is moving into the 30th degree. I exist in the 30th degree, and I'm moving towards the 31st degree of time. I would be seeing a hologram of this wallet, and the wallet wouldn't necessarily actually be there for me, because the event, this wallet, has not reached the point of time. This wallet, this physical object, right, has not gone through the same point of time that I have. I have already passed through degree 29, right? If yesterday was degree 29, I am now currently in degree 30, moving forward. Time is always passing, moving to degree 31. Or if yesterday I had this wallet, I now live in today, and I'm moving towards tomorrow. This wallet, from the perspective of this wallet, yesterday is still today for this wallet, because this wallet is from my perspective, this wallet is from yesterday. But for this wallet, yesterday is still the present moment. I have already passed the period of time that this wallet has been through. This wallet has not yet reached the period of time that I am currently in. For a time traveler, well, let me be more specific. For a fourth dimensional being that has mastery over space and time, they would be able to interact with the wallet regardless of what the rules are. Us as three-dimensional beings still follow and are still bound by the rules and laws of this physical universe, physical three-dimensional universe that we live in. So just because somebody who is on a higher level than us is able to interact with something and move it and do something with it does not mean we have the ability to do the exact same thing. That is not what that means. That does not mean we have the ability to interact with it. And it's basically you, it's like watching a YouTube video. You see how this GIF is going on repeat. This thing is going on repeat. It would be the equivalent of you just watching a video. If he were to move it into the future, I would be able to see it because he moved the wallet into my current period of time. But this wallet is still acting upon its period of time, right? This wallet is still going through the motion. So remember how I said I bought this wallet at 455 and at 5 p.m. I sold it? So let's say at 5 p.m. somebody walked up to me and I'm like, I want to buy that wallet. I picked up the wallet and I gave it to him. If a time traveler were to move it into the future, even just one day, and I'm looking at the wallet, if I'm staring at the wallet at 4:55 and I'm trying to touch it and it's not moving, it's completely intangible to me. I can't touch it at all. I'm just like, how is this wallet here? I'm sitting here, I'm confused. I'm like, how is this wallet here? At 5 p.m., I would literally see the wallet floating up in the air, go into, I would see the wallet float up in the air and go and just move. Because yesterday at 5 p.m., I picked up my wallet and I handed it to the guy. But I don't see the guy. I don't see myself. I only see the wallet. The wallet is still going through the same processes that happened. The wallet is still following the correct or the flow of time because, again, it already happened. You can't change it. Once you start your physical molecules cannot interact with something that it happened in the past. It already happened. You cannot change it. Even if you are able to see it and perceive it, you physically cannot mess with it. It is not in the same degree of time. It does not exist in the same day as you do, because that day consists of time and space. Tomorrow will consist of time and space, not just time or not just space. You cannot mess with the laws of physics. You can't bend the rules. There is no time paradox. There is no time paradox in this instance because I'm not breaking the laws of rules. This physical object existed yesterday in that degree of time. I have already existed. This wallet, right? This wallet didn't get destroyed, right? If he moved it into the future one day, this wallet already exists. This wallet still exists today. This wallet is now in the hands of the person I sold it to. It exists in my reality. It exists today. I'm just seeing how it existed yesterday. I will not have the ability to mess with it because it'll still go through the same motions that it did. It'll go through the exact same motion, the exact same steps, the exact same processes that it did as of yesterday. I would just be seeing it. It would seem like an illusion to me. And this is the same. Now, I think I've said that pretty clear enough. I'm pretty sure I've broken that down. Now, let's do the opposite. What happens if you, a living being, if you are now currently in today is the 18th, and and the time traveler, I keep saying time travel, and the fourth dimensional being was like, all right, now I'm going to move you into the past. It would be the exact same thing. Except, right now, if he threw me into the past, if right now is 5 p.m. and he threw me into 5 p.m. yesterday, the exact same rules apply as follows. Even though everything I'd see around me would be from yesterday and happening the same way as it did yesterday, two things would happen. One, I would not be able to interact with anything from yesterday. And two, here's the big one. Here's the big one. Because some people might be skeptics at this point, being like, this doesn't make any sense. Here's the big one. One, you wouldn't be able to interact with anything from yesterday. And two, you still would physically be in today. You would still physically be in the present moment. You're not in the, even though you're in the past, you are still acting on your current present moment. Which means even if I see myself handing the wallet over to the guy, I can't reach out my hand and stop the guy from doing it. In fact, I'm still in my own reality. I'm still in my own I'm still in the present day. I'm still in the 18th, even though he moved me into yesterday. I am still physically bound by the rules and laws of what is happening today in the 18th, moving towards the 19th. Which means, and here's a better example, right? Let's say you install a desk today, right? And the desk takes up 5 feet of space, 5, 6 feet of space. Yesterday, you didn't have the desk. So if somebody would have thrown you in the past yesterday, and you were trying to walk into that 5 feet of space, because in your mind, well, this is the past. I didn't install the desk yet. I should be able to walk forward, and stand in the exact same spot that the desk would be a day later. No, if you were to walk forward, even though you wouldn't see the desk, you would still hit into it, because it is still there and it still exists in your current period of time. You cannot change the actions of the past, and you cannot escape or alter what is happening in your current present moment. You can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Now, that took a long time, but I had to make sure I got the idea clear to you guys, 100% clear to you guys. Sending you forward through time. For us three-dimensional beings, we would not be able to perceive or in we would not be able to perceive traveling to the future at all, because in this instance, we would be the object being viewed, or we would be the object being perceived that is in uninteractable. Uninteractable. Whatever, it messed it up. Right? If you look at Einstein's theory of relativity, no. Before I get into that, let me explain what I mean. Before I get into that, right? Think about what we already know, right? Think about the universal agreements on time, if I can find the slide, right? Think about what we already know about time, right? I can't go back into yesterday, but I can't go back in time, right? It is fundamental for, as three-dimensional beings, it is impossible for us by ourselves to go back in time. But we're able to record things that happened in the past. We're able to take videos, we're able to write down books, we're able to use our memory. We can remember things in the past. We can never go into the past. The future, on the other hand, we will never, ever, ever be able to see the future. I can't see into the future, right? I can't see into the future. We can predict what is going to happen in the future based on events that have already happened in time. But if you really think about it, when we go to the future, that future moment just becomes our present moment. Because remember, what does the universal agreement say? Time is always passing nonstop, and it is always passing in one direction, which we call forward, which means we are already going forward. So if you push me even more forward than I'm already going, I'm still going forward. That new position that you push me to is now my set position, which means if I live today, right? If I live today, and today is the 18th, and you push me into tomorrow, it doesn't, and again, it doesn't matter if you push me into tomorrow or you push me 500 years into the future from now. That point in time that you push me to is now going to be my current present moment, and I will not have the ability to go back. I will not have the ability to go back at all. We cannot see the future. By the time we get to the future, it is now the present moment. We never see the future. The future always just stays the present, right? So if you look at Einstein's theory of relativity, it's not really time travel, because even if time dilates around you, once you reach speeds close to the speed of light, it's a one-way trip, like I just explained. As long as you're moving at those speeds, things will always move faster than you currently are, but you and the environment around you are always moving forward. I'm gonna highlight that again. I'm gonna highlight this, boom. You and the environment around you are always moving forward. We do not move back through time. When you stop moving at those speeds, you will be in the same degree as the environment around you. That is to say, it does not matter if you move at the speed of light and 50 degrees or 50 days have passed outside of you. Two things are happening. One, you are still moving forward in degrees, no matter how slow you are personally are moving through those degrees. And two, when you stop moving at the speed of light or close to the speed of light, you are now at 50 degrees and will move from 50 to 51 degrees at the same speed of everything else around you. Getting put into the future isn't true time travel. To be honest, true time travel, if a four-dimensional being wanted to drop you into the future in this scenario, you would be just like the wallet. Everyone in the future will be able to see you, but you will not be able to perceive everyone in the future. That is true time travel. If someone were to just pick you up and throw you into the future, and if you have the ability to interact with anything in that environment, you are now set to that point in time. That is now your new present moment. The only true way for you to be thrown into the future and not be affected by what is going on in the future is if you are a being, you are an object that has not currently reached that degree of time yet. So I told you in the early example, if you're going to the past, you would be able to see the wallet, and it's like you're watching things you're just watching a recording, you're just watching a video of things, of events that already happened. For the people who live in the future, they have already been through, gone past the current point of time that you already live in. So for them, you are something from the past. For you, for your mindset, from your perspective, you have yet to live you yourself have yet to live. The atoms, the molecules, the photons that make up your individual body have yet to experience that period of time. Since you have yet experienced that period of time, you will not be able to interact with it, nor will you even be able to see it. The only way you could be able to perceive time travel is from the past, because you, the molecules and atoms that make up you, have already gone through and passed that past period of time. You cannot be someone who lives in degree 30 and somehow be able to see degree 42. You haven't gone through 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. You haven't gone through any of those degrees yet. You have to linearly, in this instance, linearly go through time. And if he wanted to drop you into the future and you had the ability to interact with it, that is now your new current present moment. You still, if he were to drop you into the future, you still, by definition, past degree 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. Even if you yourself didn't see him do that, even though it may have seemed like an instant for you, the molecules in your body, the things that make up you, have passed those periods of time. That's what I'm saying. Einstein's theory of relativity isn't really time travel. It's just you moving really, really fast. You're still traveling a distance. Remember the formula. Remember the formula, right? If you're trying to solve for time travel, you must eliminate space. You must eliminate space. And what is the definition of space again, right? The three-dimensional or expanse in which all material objects are located and all events occur, which means if events are occurring, right? All right, let me say this properly. All right. If you're moving close to the speed of light, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how fast you're moving a speed. And to move at a speed, you need an object to do that. You need an object traveling a distance to move. An object in motion has speed. Just to make it clear, an object in motion has a speed no matter what. That's not time travel. You're an object in motion, that is space. You're talking about space in that is instance. The Einstein's theory of relativity is more pertained to space, it more than it is pertained to time, because time and space are two sides of the same coin. If you alter space, you are by the definition also altering time, but you are not. But the act of running, moving a distance, having the object move in any shape, form, or capacity donates speed, which is a law of space. When you're talking about relativity, you're really talking about manipulating space, not manipulating time. That doesn't manipulate time. Time is still flowing the exact same way as it would. You are still bound by the law. Even though you're manipulating the laws of space, you are still bound by the laws of time. So Einstein's theory of relativity wouldn't, to be honest, it wouldn't be solving for time. It'd be solving for space, because it's space manipulation. Time is still a constant factor in the equation. There is no evidence anywhere, right, that states you can somehow skip from degree 50 to degree 42. if you are, from degree 50 to degree 53, you still have to pass through 51 and 52 to get the 53. So to sum it all up, true time travel can only be done by one that has mastery of the fourth dimension. And us third dimensional beings can only perceive time travel to a certain extent. Again, we can only perceive it when it pertains objects and things going back in time, because we have already passed through those periods of time. We cannot perceive it from the future because we have not yet entered those spheres of time in the future. And finally, come back here next time for part 2, teleportation, because look what I did. I solved for, where is it? I solved for time. Now, for me to be intellectually honest with myself, I must be able to use the same equation and solve for space. So if y'all want to see that happen, like and subscribe and come back here next time for part 2. We're going to be talking about teleportation. This has been Chris Desir, 100 Agency. Catch you guys. Wait for it. Next time.